Alright guys, we're back. We're gonna go on with this header, and one more thing that we're going to need, since we're going to actually start developing some of the stuff in the header, is we need to install, not install, sorry, but import, excuse me. We're gonna have to import link from Gatsby. And what this will do is basically it will give you the ability to navigate. It's almost like a router. It acts like a router, and it's connected to the Gatsby router. So that way you can just connect from page to page, or things like that, and make without having to actually use. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and do this at the same time. So anyway, it allows you to do this without having to actually use A tags, okay, or anchor tags. So when you use A tags, there's a little bit of a delay refresh there sometimes, and because it's just the way the browser works. When you use link, it's almost like immediately fast, like you didn't even see it happening. So it's a better way to link to link between pages, and there's a little bit of an right here. You can read a little bit about it if you want to, if you are getting this same thing that I'm getting as well. I don't know if I'm getting this because I have TypeScript installed or not, but I hope you are. I hope you're getting this information as well, and that will give you a lot more information about what you're trying to design in your site and stuff like that. So it's always a good thing. All right. So anyway, so now that we have link, we can actually start creating some of the stuff. So first thing we're going to move on to here is going to be the structure of the actual tool, app toolbar. Yeah, the toolbar itself. So this menu icon right here, we're not going to use this menu icon on this side right here. This is normally like for bringing a side menu that comes up on the side right here. We're not going to use that. Instead, we're going to move this to the other side and use it as our responsive menu button that is not going to show here yet. So if you see, it's not yet showing. It shows at that width, which is the tablet portrait. Okay, but up until this time right here, all you're going to need is basically just a logo part section there, which it could be just your name or whatever you want it to be, and then the menu items, and then when you go down to a certain width, then you can start showing that. So it's going to be very, very simple. Excuse me. It's going to be very, very simple. It's not going to need any of this stuff here. It's not going to need any of these. So we're going to just bring it down a notch. So these icon buttons, as I said, we're going to get rid of that. And then this material UI typography here, it says material UI in it. So we're going to keep that, but we're going to name it your name, in this case my name, Le Silva CV. Okay, we're going to keep it that way, and eventually this is going to change as well. We're going to be using the site metadata in order to feed this information here. But for right now, just so we can have something up there, we're gonna do this this way. If you notice here, there is I'm using a class name already that is already defined in here, and title. So it's going to have a display none, but it's going to come up on small or above. So it's going to do all of this right here, this title right here. So I don't want it to actually act this way. I don't want it to react that way. Let me see what it does. So if you see, it goes away and it only comes up on small or up. So it's going to be originally display none, but if it's small or up, then it's display block. I don't want it to go away like that. I want it to always remain there. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that class altogether. And while I'm here, I know I'm not going to be using a search bar, so just this search bar and search icon, I'm not going to use that, so just get rid of it. We can figure this out in a minute. Alright, so So now that I got rid of the class title, I have to get rid of this obviously because it's going to be undefined. It's not going to find it. So I can get rid of that and there, keep the variant, that's fine. Okay, so we're done with that. However, there's one thing that I want to do to this, right? Now that I have this without this, right? It's this and this doesn't exist. In fact, let me go ahead and before I get that far, let me just go ahead and get rid of the search stuff because I got rid of the class. So if I got rid of the class, I got to get rid of the rest. Separate these stuff here. Okay, so this is the input base with the placeholders, search, and all this stuff. So this right here, this entire thing here, is basically this folder here. This, I'm sorry, not folder, this input field. And then this search icon, yeah, that, obviously. And then this div right here is what wraps up the whole entire thing. So I'm going to get rid of that entire thing. So now I have the typography component for where it used to say material UI. I got rid of this and I got rid of this, and I still have this stuff on the side here. Bring it up a little bigger, yeah. And I still have all this stuff on the side here. So let's see where we are so far. So hit save, and let's see what it does for us. There we go, perfect. This is basically what I want so far. And if I go down, it's still there. See that? It's still there. It's not going away. But I do have that responsiveness that I do want to keep. I want to keep a menu there and a responsive menu there, like that. I want to keep that same responsiveness. So that's cool. I like that. But however, the one thing that I want to do is I want to make this link, clickable. That when I click on it, no matter where I am anywhere else, I can always go to my home page with it. Okay, this will come very helpful on multiple page websites. Not so much on this one because you're only gonna have this index page, but it's not a bad idea to have it, to do it. So I'm gonna make use of my link right here. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to come over here and create my link and make sure that everything that I want it to be clickable is wrapped inside it, just like that. And I'm gonna tab this into it because I like indentation. I like proper indentation. It's just a thing. Alright, so now that I have that link in there, now I gotta add a property to it called to, and this means basically where is it going to link to when I click on it. And in this case, it's going to be just the home path, okay, the base path, which is going to be the / is going to be home, your index page basically. So by doing so, if I save it and I look at my thing, now it's a link. Now it's a hyperlink, technically. Okay, so anything that I link on right now, if I click on it right now, it will just continue to bring me to that same home page right here, which I am already there anyway. So now I know, yeah, you don't want it to look like this, right? So that's fine. This is when you actually can start creating some of these classes that you need in here to make it, so that it doesn't look that way. So it looks white again. You can create a class here and call it logo menu or whatever you want it. Or you can create one that is in a separate CSS or SAS file that is specific only to the to this particular page, and we're gonna go over that in a second here. All right, so we're gonna do that later. Let's just continue to finish the structure and then we'll set up the styles. So we have this div class named classes grow. So this grow right here, all it does is basically it separates these two items, this one and this one, so that you can have one on the left and one on the right without messing, bumping, like being right next to each other, and it will always have that separation on, so that's pretty cool. We'll leave that. And then we have the menu area, which is going to be this one. And then we have a section for the mobile area, which is this one. We have these two. All right, let me separate this even further. Okay, there we go. Alright, so what we want to do here is, let's start with the section for the desktop, or the menu area for the desktop here. So right now what we have is we have these buttons over here that you can see with these badges and whatnots. We're not going to be using that stuff. In some of the websites you might end up using notifications and things like that, but we're not going to use it on this one. This one is going to be a lot simpler and a lot easier. So all we're going to do on this one is we're gonna set up a regular a typography to begin with. So we're gonna hit typography, and let me bring that down so it's not in the way. And for the typography, we're going to establish the variant that we're gonna use, and in this case the variant is going to be body 1. Okay. And this is all explained in the typography component, documentation, and material UI. Then I will use a class name on this because there is going to be a specific way that I want this to look. Okay, so for now we can just make it, we can just call it link for now. Okay, because it's going to be a link. This is eventually going to be a link that I'm going to use. And eventually this right here, I'm going to explain how to use this with more scoped, within a scoped class and a scoped style sheet. So you'll see this in a second. But for right now, I'll just keep it like that. And now we're going to add the link that it's going to go to. So it's going to link, and this one is, oops, I'm sorry, it's going to have to use that. There you go. And then this one is going to link to the home page, just like the menu, like, you know, the one that we did for our name, and then the name home. All right, so that's good. That's basically our very first menu item that is going to show up here, right? We're going to get rid of these and we're going to add these in there instead. And then we're going to add a couple more. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this and set them up like that, and everything is going to be the same, but except this one is going to be projects, this one is going to be about, and this one is going to be contacts. Because I don't have these pages yet, I'm just going to put a hashtag on there, and I'm going to do the same thing for all of these. And it's not contacts, it's contact. There you go. So this sets up basically our menu item, our menu area right here. Okay, this set of typographies. So it's basically each one is a typography component with that variant, and that will give me a set of styles to start off with, a base style to start off with, and a class link that I can use to modify that base style a little more to what I want it to look like. And then inside the typography, I'm going to make sure that it links to somewhere, and this is the name of the whole thing is going to be named that way. So now we can get rid of this icon button for the mail, which is that one. Get rid of the notification ones, which is that one. And get rid of the, okay, yep, get rid of this guy here as well. Yep. Get rid of all that. Yep, this icon button. Yep, sure. All right. So now that I have that, let's go ahead and save it and see what it looks like. And here we go. We got home, projects, about, and contact. And you can see in the bottom, if you look in the bottom right here, you can see how it's going to a hashtag. It's nowhere. And then the very first one, home, is going to not even a hashtag, which is basically is going to the main page. Now again, none of this is styled because it's using the regular hyperlink right now, and the only baseline styling that you have here is just basically whatever is in the typography, which is technically the primary color and the font size, and that's about all there is to it. So we'll continue with this, and now we gotta excuse me, we gotta go over the section mobile. So in the section mobile, we're gonna use this a little bit different. So let's just go down here and make it like that. So instead of using this one, I want to use the other one better, the actual menu, hamburger menu, to call it, or something like that. I think it's a little bit more it's a little bit easier for people to understand what it is than this one. So we're going to use that one instead. So everything here is fine. We're going to add a class name to this div here called section mobile, and inside it's going to have an icon button. All right, so the icon button, right? So that's what we're going to have. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. And so for the area label here that we're going to use, it could say show more. This area label here is mainly for CSS. Not CSS, for accessibility purposes, and people are using. So people who are who can't see and they use screen readers in order to read or listen to the website with screen readers and things like that. They could use that. So for right now, we can just call it menu. Okay, so the area control is going to be the mobile menu ID. So this basically is it's going to be calling it's just all this area stuff is all basically the same thing. In fact, you can call this right here. You can just do it to the area label, and it's going to use the same one basically. And so yeah, so all this stuff right here is going to be accessibility stuff, so you don't have to worry about it. The website will work even if you didn't have this. So it's a good thing that it already automatically adds it. That is pretty cool, but you don't really need it. And then this on-click event right here, so this is what makes the button do something when you click it. So the on-click event is calling a function called handle mobile menu open. Okay, and we're gonna go over that once we get up there to what that function is. Just want to talk a little bit more about what's happening in this icon here. And then the color is going to be the inherit. Okay, the inherit color basically is just going to inherit whatever the theme is given for a primary button on top of a primary header or a primary ad bar, which is going to be, if it's purple, it's going to be white on top of purple. So this is stuff that Material UI already did for you. And that's pretty cool that they already did that for you. So you don't have to actually define it here. But you could change it. If you didn't want it to be white, if you wanted it to be black or a different color, you can change it there as well too. Alright, so instead of using the more icon, we're going to use the menu icon instead. So we're going to change that to menu icon. And if you're wondering where those names are coming from, these are this right here. It's menu icon. It's this icon that has already been defined inside of your Material UI. Okay, so keep moving on. So that button is there. We're already done with that part. And then the last thing we're gonna need is what is going to actually be rendering here. And the only thing that we're gonna actually render is gonna be the mobile menu. We're not gonna render the menu that they had before, which is the one with the it's a different menu that it will render on a different screen size and all that. We're getting rid of all that functionality, and we're doing like this one right here. We're not gonna render this one. We're gonna render the other one like this one here. We're gonna render the exact same one on here. Instead of messages and notifications and profile, is going to render these home, projects, about, and contact. So that's why we don't need to render the menu. We're just going to render the mobile menu. So now that we have that set up, now we can come over here and start taking some of the stuff out that I know I'm not going to need. This input, I don't believe I am going to need that one. I think, if I am not mistaken, that was for the what do you call it, the search. Yeah, I think it was. So I'm gonna go ahead and comment that out just in case. It's always a good practice to comment things out instead of actually deleting it, because you never know if you do actually end up needing it. So it's better to comment it out just in case. Okay, and if you do end up not needing it, then great, you just save yourself a lot of bloat and get rid of it. Alright, so starting with some of these functions that we're going to be using. So what do they really mean? So right here we got, in the first one, we have an array, say, for anchor L and set anchor L. So what these guys do are basically they set the position for these drop down menus that open up when you click like the menu item, and the menu, the menu icon, sorry, this one. Okay, so it sets up the position that it opens so that it can close back to the same position that it opened from. I believe that this one we are using for the handle profile menu open and handle menu close, which I don't believe that we're using any of that stuff. Yeah, so we're not really using any of that stuff. So, but we'll keep it there for a minute until we actually get it to be grayed out. The best way to do it is, instead of deleting it right here, make sure first that you actually are using these menus, and then if you're not using it, then it will gray out just like this one. So let's start actually from this render menu here, starting from the ground up instead. So that's the render mobile menu, right? So the render mobile menu, it has the anchor EL, which we are using that one, okay? And that one is going to be using this property right here. The anchor origin that is going to open is going to open from the top, horizontal right. So these are just particular properties to the way that the menu is going to open, and the name and the ID that it's going to be using, which is this one. I don't really like that ID. I'm just going to call it a lot simpler menu. So that's fine. And this, what was it? Okay, so keep mounted. So all these properties are, just basically you can go through you can go through some of these in Material UI, and it will explain to you what they mean. This is just basically how it opens and closes, and this open right here is the property for maintaining the open state, whether it's going to be true or false if it's open, or it's true, and if it's not, then it's false. And the unclose, which is what happens when what happens when it closes. When it unclose calls this function right here, handle mobile menu close, which is this one, and it's going to do that. And this one is up here, so this is what we're using, and then use right here. Okay, so we're using all of this stuff here basically. But for the menu item, again, what we're really using is the stuff that we did before, the typography and all that stuff. So we're gonna set it up. We're gonna put typography, variant, body, body 1, and then in there we're gonna add a link, and then that's going to have a class name. And this one we're going to call it link mobile, link for mobile. There you go, link for mobile. And that one is going to go to the home page. All right, and we're going to call that home, the actual, So this is going to resemble basically the same menu that we created for up there. Okay, so now that we have that, we don't need this icon or this message. We're gonna close that there, do this. Okay, so now that we have this one particular menu item, we're gonna get rid of this menu item. We're gonna get rid of this menu item as well, and we're gonna create a menu item for all the other ones that we do have, because we have a few more pages, right? So one of them was projects. And there's a way that you can do this without having to actually rewrite something that we already did and then just make it dynamic. But for right now, just so we can move faster, we can just do it this way. Contact. All right, and then we said that for the time being, this was going to go there, and this was going to go there, and then this is going to go there. Okay, so we have your link for your mobile menu also now defined. So this menu now can close here for now. Okay, we're good on that. Okay, so what do we have here is basically the render menu. So this is a different one that we're not going to be using. This is the one that was rendering before, and we got rid of it as well, so we're not going to use that one. So we can get rid of that. So the handle menu event, we did realize that we are going to need that one. That one is the one that is using the handle menu close, and then the handle. Okay, so the handle menu open is going to be fired by this button right here, handle menu open. So remember when I said earlier I was going to get up there. So when you're in this button right here, this button, which is, it was changed to this one, but I haven't refreshed. When you click on click, it will fire this function. This function, which it lives up here, it will set up, it will call this function, this set mobile, right? And it makes, that's what makes the anchor, the drop down show up. Okay, and the same thing is going to happen for the close. The close is basically going to do the same thing. There's just a few of them that we're not really using anymore, and that's why we're getting them grayed out here, so we get rid of those. So like this handle menu close here, we're not using that function in itself because that was for the other menu. And the handle profile, yep, we're not using the handle profile. Menu open. So these are fine, these are fine. Is menu, we're not using that one. That's right, we're not using that one. And I know it says that we're not using the set anchor L, or the anchor L, sorry. We're not using the set anchor L, that's for sure. But I know it says that we're not using the anchor L, but I know we are. So I don't know why it says that, but I know we are. We're using it right here. So don't get rid of that. All right, and that's pretty much how you set up your app bar. And that was probably, that took a little bit of work, but trust me, it's worth it. All right, so now you can see here, it opens. Very ugly, but it opens. And if you come over here, here's your menu. And if you come here, there is the same menu and it's open. We're going to work on the next one on how to establish these styles here and make it all look a little bit better than that. Okay? All right. See you in the next one, guys.